Fourth Quarter Quarrel, first episode. What's up, fellas? Hey, this feels good. We're coming at you live. We're a little late. We apologize about that, but it's new group, first episode. Some shit's got to go down, right? We can't be perfect, can't be flawless. So the only person we're missing right now is our boy Kyle. His internet went down, so hopefully he can join back up because it's supposed to be the main six of us. But for right now, you get the Fantastic Five. We got myself, my man Tim, we got Steven, we got Jason, and we got Brian. So if you're new to the show, most of us have come together from a group called 2 Minute Warning, and we formed based on our interest, our sole love of football. We wanted to make a football-only group called Fourth Quarter Quarrel, so here we are. We hope to bring you this weekly show, and I think we're going to be starting on Wednesdays, in the future. We're going to try to make Wednesday our staple night for the show, but we're glad if you want to join us, and we hope to, continue to grow and just have great discussions, and hey, we're going to bring you that energy every single week. So fellas, let's get right into it as we wait for Kyle. Hopefully his little Comcast comes back on. But we have a couple topics, and we're only going to do a couple because we know this is going to be a high-energy show. Very first one, we're going to bring a lot of energy, and this is going to be going around and around. And the very first topic, both of them involving quarterbacks. The top three quarterbacks, fellas. What are the top three quarterbacks that have the most pressure to succeed in 2019? And why don't you, Tim, why don't you start us off? Top three. Most top pressure. Three.
Well, I gotta look for my top three quarterbacks. It got to be quarterbacks that got a lot of character, maybe on the field, teammates. So my number one guy is Baker Mayfield. Why is Baker Mayfield? Well, they had Jarvis Landry last season. Tough SOB. But now you got Odell Beckham Jr. Okay, now we all know Odell Beckham Jr. came from the New York Giants, how he had a little bit of sideline ways, very outspoken to the media on his quarterback, things like that. Now, Baker Mayfield is a different type of quarterback. He's a quarterback that doesn't mind getting into the mix and matches with his teammates if it goes that route. So I got to say this for a rookie. Not a rookie, a second-year quarterback in his sophomore year with a very talented group that was, the Cleveland Browns. The offseason, they had a great offseason so far. Odell Beckham Jr. is talking about being like the Patriots. You got rookie players coming in saying we're going to win the Super Bowl. We got Baker Mayfield say that they have the talent to go all the way. My number one guy is Baker Mayfield. He got to make this work in his second year. Especially with how poorly the Cleveland Browns has been for years, this is a big step they're gonna have to take. So in my opinion, he's number one. My number two guy, I'm gonna put Cam Newton. Why is that? Well, he got shoulder surgery. Got a new owner. Okay, his contract is coming up in a couple of years. I always say that if management didn't draft you, they will get rid of you and get their own guy. Well, they drafted Will Greer. I believe he was in the third or fourth round. He's cheaper. Okay. He's more healthier. Cam Newton has been hurt these past couple of years, and he's getting a little bit older. He'll be in his 30s. So we don't know if Carolina wants to go that route and want to give out all that money, especially where we just seen Russell Wilson making 36 mil, and we know Aaron Rodgers' contract is coming up. He may break the bank with 40. You got Mahomes. So that's going to be interesting. My last quarterback is going to be Marcus Mariota. Listen, Tennessee got a great team around them, in my opinion. To me, they're a playoff team. But Marcus Mariota, he's been injured a lot. He's learning how to play quarterback from that pocket, being more of a quarterback than an athlete. So last year of his contract. And they got Ryan Tannehill, who is a former starter, right behind him. He may have not succeeded in Miami like they wanted him to, but this is a whole new different team. So those are my top three: Baker Mayfield, Cam Newton, and Marcus Mariota.
There you go. Good three. And to go second, we got Jason. And Jason, before you list your three quarterbacks, do you mind explaining to the wonderful public of why exactly are you wearing a dunce cap right now on camera?
All right. So everybody that's out there in 4QQ. So myself and Mr. Stephen Fogman, Mr. AKA Fogmetrics, we had this little bet in the draft. We said, all right, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson All right, safety out of Florida. I said that if he's probably gonna be he's one of my best safeties in this draft, and I thought he would get drafted in the first 2 rounds. And and believe me, he's a top talent, top 2 round for first round, second round talent. However, he went into the 4th round, and our bet was that if he goes past the second round, I would have to wear this stupid dunce cap. All right, and so here we are. And for the record, okay, he is a good talent. And the draft did not go as planned. So let's not get that twisted. Okay?
I toast to you, Jason. I definitely toast to you. I appreciate you.
So blame
Man
Mr.
of his word.
Metrics. Oh.
All right, what 3 you got for us, Jason? I think I saw that earlier on your little soy sauce list there.
All right, so so these three guys that I picked mainly because they're not first or second year players. So they're dealing with some injuries and there's a lot of pressure on these guys. My third quarterback in this draft. Not draft, but this third quarterback who has the most pressure. It's got to be Marcus Mariota. He hasn't really shown as much improvement over the years as a quarterback, as a pocket passer. They had one of the best drafts this year. I think they had one. I think they had like the best draft this season. They picked up AJ Brown, Humphreys at Tampa Bay, and they got Corey Davis on the other side. So they're putting a lot of weapons around him. He has to show that he can get it done. Otherwise, he's going to be gone. And plus, they got Ryan Tannehill backing him up. So that was my third choice. My second choice, I'm going to go with Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, if you guys remember, Jimmy Garoppolo got this massive contract for put up 7 games. 7 games he played the 49ers, and he went out with an ACL injury, and he got injured again the next season. And I just think that he has to show that he has to be healthy. My number 1 pick is going to be Cam Newton. Cam Newton right now is going to be going through the same thing that Andrew Luck is going through right now, because as a Colts fan, I would say that I was a little bit worried about how Andrew Luck was going to come back from a shoulder injury. And if you saw Andrew Luck play before the injury and after the injury, he's a different player. Like, he's one of those guys that, like, he'll try to run you over a little bit. He'll play he'll lean with his shoulder, stuff like that. If you watched him last year, he's sliding, he's running out of bounds. He's not taking those hits. Cam Newton's style of play is that where he plays very, very physical. And you got to think too, like, with that shoulder injury, I mean, can he still play that same way? Can he still be Cam Newton? And over the years, he hasn't really shown that he's a very, very good quarterback, but he's been average. Even if his best year as an MVP candidate, I mean, his completion percentage, like, I think it was like 59, 60%, something like that. It wasn't that great, but it was okay. But he's going to have to learn to change the way he played the position. And they also drafted Will Grier. I mean, Will Grier, I think, is a very, very good quarterback. And he has a lot of pressure, especially being that he's 30 years old. So those are my 3 picks.
Not bad. All right, I like it. Brian, you want to go?
You can hear me?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
My bad, fella. This Mac stuff, man. I've been trying to tell you. I'm trying to get used to it. It's so weird. It's so weird with this Mac stuff. But hey, I heard all y'all picks. I like. There's gonna be some overlap, possibly. I wrote down 6 quarterbacks, but I know the game is 3, so I was having some issues picking. But I'm gonna go with my top 3. No particular order, really. First guy I'm gonna mention here is Jameis Winston. He's a Florida State guy. You guys know I'm a Florida State fan. Everybody knows me. I'm a huge Seminole fan, and I've caped for Jameis Winston, and I think it's time for him to step up. And this guy was benched last year. He was benched for his transgressions, and he was benched because he was playing poorly. For Ryan Fitzpatrick. His numbers last year were very pedestrian, even though he only played 11 games, started 9 last year. And look, they went out and got a coach that literally recruited him out of high school, out of Foley, Alabama, and Bruce Arians. And apparently Bruce Arians loves the guy. So it's not necessarily, it's somebody that wants to coach Jameis Winston, right? So At this point, Jameis Winston's on his last leg. I've been saying that every time this question comes up in any group, I say Jameis Winston because they got a coach that wants to coach him. And if he cannot perform under a guy like Bruce Arians, who made Carson Palmer at times look like a Hall of Fame quarterback, if Jameis Winston cannot perform under this guy, it might not be the move. He might not be the guy. I mean, I don't want to call Jameis Winston a bust, but you might have to start calling him a bust if he cannot perform this season under a new coach. Remember, they got Derek Cutter for Jameis Winston, and they fired him. So, I mean, so they got another coach for Jameis, and if Jameis can't perform under this guy, it's lights out for him. It's game over. The next guy on my list is probably going to shock a lot of people because he did play very, very well last year. He was the MVP of the year of the league, and it's Pat Mahomes. Pat Mahomes, for me, had a lot of pressure on him because, one, he was the MVP. Two, took the league by storm. And three, a lot of people want to see him do it again. And a lot of people think he's the best quarterback in the league. I personally don't think he's the best quarterback in the league, but there are a lot of people who do. And, you know, this guy lost his top target was potentially in Tyreek Hill. He lost his top running back in Kareem Hunt. You know, obviously it's pretty much the same offense is coming back besides those two guys. Defense is a little bit bolstered up, so he has that. But I think people are going to want to see Patrick Mahomes do this again. And I think it's fair. But I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on him because they're really hyping this guy. Like he reminds me of he's like the NFL Steph Curry. He really is. This guy has come in and kind of changed the league, right, in terms of his play. He's kind of taken over. So people want to see this guy do it again. So I think there's a good amount of pressure on Patrick Mahomes to kind of reenact what he did, at least come close to it. I don't expect him to do it far and beyond what he did last year, or otherwise that would be incredible. But I think they expect him to come close to what he did last year. And then the next guy on my list, I was kind of choosing between two AFC North quarterbacks. But I'm gonna have to go with the rival. I was gonna say Big Ben, but he's like a notch below because I think Big Ben has a lot of pressure on him too. But my third guy is, like Tim says, Baker Mayfield. I don't know how anybody can say anybody but Baker Mayfield. I mean, think about it. The guy was a number one overall pick last year, right? Usually when you're the number one overall pick, you're waiting for your team to be built around you for at least 3 to 4 years, maybe 5, before you can say, okay, I'm ready. I have a team. I'm ready to go. Baker Mayfield has possibly the best roster in the NFL right now. And there's no way he can mess this up. Odell Beckham, Jarvis Landry, David Njoku, Kareem Hunt, who is going to be coming back, Nick Chubb, who I think is a phenomenal running back, a revamped offensive line, a defense that was also that's led by Denzel Ward, by Bradley Chubb. Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett. I mean, you know, and they just picked up to me the best DB in football in the draft in Greedy Williams. Look, Baker, like there's really no excuse for Baker Mayfield at this point to not succeed this year. If they don't win at least 12 games this year, it's a failure in my eyes. And that's going to be on Baker because Baker, there's really no reason for him not to succeed with that football team. Odell Beckham already called him a Hall of Famer. Okay, he called him Brett Favre reincarnated. So there's no reason for Baker Mayfield not to succeed. So those are my top 3. Hey, Josh, you're on mute.
Apologize about that. I was trying to get a graphic ready for the next scene. Thank you. That's a pretty interesting one with Mahomes. I didn't see that one coming, but it's an interesting tidbit. Fogmeg, who do you got for us? I see that little smirk. I think he's got a little surprise for us.
I don't have a surprise because
no. All right.
It's not Carson Wentz, number one. He's lying.
For some
Carson Wentz is on my list.
Brian and I share the same fucking brain.
Oh shit! Here we go.
Because those 3 individuals, Jameis Winston, Patrick Mahomes, and Baker Mayfield, are the same 3 that I have. When you look at Baker Mayfield, I think everybody might have Baker across the boards. It's not a matter of him being this great quarterback, but I think more along the lines of shouldering this Browns expectations. The BWO, as Tim would like to put it. They've got all these pieces around him And now it's time for you to really perform. And he had a pretty good season last season, especially under Freddie Kitchens after they got rid of Todd Haley and Jesus. I just spaced on his name.
Greg?
No, the head coach, the Browns.
Oh, Hugh. Okay.
Hugh.
I thought you were going for Greg Williams. Okay.
No.
Okay.
Not Greg. So they get rid of Haley and Hugh, and all of a sudden, Baker starts performing better. So I think there's tremendous pressure on Baker Mayfield to perform because, again, on paper, they stacked this team like an all-pro team. When you look at Jameis Winston, again, and Brian will tell you, I have been an advocate that Jameis Winston is a complete bust. And he is now in a position where, like Brian said, he has a coach who liked him, was enamored with him, wanted him. He's got a quarterback coach in Byron Leftwich, and an offensive coordinator who can help him. It's time to put up or shut up for Jameis Winston. Again, of the two talents that came out in that draft, Winston had the higher upside than Marcus Mariota. So it's time for Winston to show and prove. And then the last one is Patrick Mahomes. He put up a season that was spectacular, but he also put up a season where you sit back and you go, is this a one-hit wonder? Or is this guy going to be a legitimate star? Now, I think he's going to be a legitimate star. But you just lost Kareem Hunt. You just lost Tyreek Hill. And where is your supporting cast going to be now? Your superstar guy is Travis Kelce. You don't have a real superstar running back, but again, Andy Reid has made do throughout his entire career with suspect running backs and just shoveling them in and out. Listen, you had Carell Buchalter there to complement LaShawn McCoy. You had Deuce Staley there. You had Brian Westbrook. He's shuffled good running backs in and out, but you don't have that elite talent anymore that you did. So now it's time to see what Patrick Mahomes can do. And again, the curse of the sophomore slump. Josh, 90% of these quarterbacks, they hit that sophomore slump. Tim, you know about it. Ask Dak. So Patrick Mahomes, he's got a lot on his shoulders right now. And he's going to have to take this team that, quite honestly, hot take, might miss the playoffs this year.
Watch him out, Stephen Fogman.
See, that's what's interesting, Fogmake, is because I guess this is the way. What makes this topic so interesting is I guess we all kind of polarize that pressure in a different aspect, because I understand. I definitely understand where you and Brian are coming off with the Mahomes thing. I can totally put myself in your shoes and have that wavelength in my brain go as well. But I also can look at the different end of the spectrum and look at Mahomes and say, when I look at Patrick Mahomes, I can see, especially if I'm a Chiefs fan, I can already hear this. If Patrick Mahomes, this is weird to say, decreases or has a down season of 35 something touchdowns and, doesn't play, it's still a great fucking season, but we're all expecting him to keep doing this 50, 45, 50 every season. I'm sure we all are because of what we just saw. So when it comes down to him actually throwing those 35 and having still a decent INT line of maybe 10, 35 and 10, we'll say 40, 300 yards, whatever it is, people will still gawk at that. He didn't do as good. But if you're a fan of Patrick Mahomes, you're going to chalk it up as, oh, well, he was on, the sophomore slump. It happens to everybody. He'll be fine. It's a learning curve. Or, oh, he was on the Madden cover. So you got to give him a break. That goddamn Madden cover, it affects everybody. It's so stupid. Give him one more year after the Madden cover. It's fine. Or, oh, he just lost Kareem Hunt and Tyreek Hill possibly. He doesn't really have a good receiving corps. You really got to give Mahomes one more year. That's the way I can see them going at it, especially with Baker Mayfield. I can totally understand the pressure because Odell going over there absolutely inflates Cleveland 100 times with pressure automatically. Just that trade, the media is already putting the Browns in the fucking AFC North driver's seat. That's what it is. The media drives all these perceptions. I hate to take this away just 1 second from football, but the media does the same shit with the Knicks. The Knicks fans are all, oh, we have Zion, Kyrie, and KD coming. And if that doesn't happen, what's going to happen? They're all going to go fucking ballistic because they believe it's already in cement. And that's what the football fans believe with the Browns. They already think, oh, we're the kings of the North now. We just got Odell. Oh, we got Kareem Hunt. He'll be back in week 8. Oh, this is going to be fucking fantastic. I don't see Baker with as much pressure because I see Baker had Odell come over. Oh, yeah. And the media right now is painting the Browns as right now lately as regressing. Oh, hold your horses. I really don't see the Browns doing as good as everyone's chalking them up to be. So when they actually do pull out their 7-9 or 8-8 possibly in the North, it's going to be, oh, well, I expected that from the Browns. So yeah, Baker's still young. This is his first full season. It's his new, receiving corps, his new offense. You got to give him a little time to gel with the chemistry. And well, I can totally hear that too. See, the ones that I see with the pressure, I totally agree with Jameis because Jameis is like we've all talked about. He leads the league with the turnovers in the past. What is it like? This isn't even counting his rookie year. This is just from 16 to 18. These are the past 3 seasons that he's played, which sucks because Jameis Winston is actually a very durable quarterback. He's only missed games 3, and that was due to suspension. He's actually very durable, and he does not miss a game, which is the great aspect about him. But this shit right here is what kills him, is almost averaging an interception and a fumble each and every game. You can't have that. 75 turnovers total through 3 seasons. And I think Bortles is the only one with higher number. It was 77, I believe, total fumbles and interceptions. So I totally agree with Jameis. My other 2 actually were not listed. I think there's some pressure on Nick Foles because now you're in Jacksonville. Nick Foles, you're the big $88 million guy right next to Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is getting fucking crucified this year after 1 season with the Vikings and a regressed defense. Crucified. Ski mask and memes and everything. You don't think the same shit's going to happen to Nick Foles this year if they start out 3-6 or some shit? Because we saw Saxonville turn into Crapsonville within 1 year. And now the pressure's on Tom Coughlin. Leonard Fournette's over there getting his guaranteed money taken away and back and forth in the front office now. Who the fuck knows what's going to go on in Jacksonville? Now you got Telvin Smith retiring. Miles Jack hasn't even played as good as he's supposed to have been. You got Jalen Ramsey out there doing eye emojis whenever a fucking new contract is being signed. Who the fuck knows what's going to happen in Jacksonville? And now Tom Coughlin, he is relying on Doug Marrone and Nick Foles to save his vice president ass in Jacksonville. So I think there's a lot of pressure on Nick because if he doesn't perform, it's right back to, I told you, you're getting Nick Foles from St. Louis. It wasn't just Jeff Fisher. So his career would be ruined from there, and he would just be a clipboard holder from there.
Josh.
Yeah.
If that happens with Nick Foles, I told you so.
Now,
oh shit, that's true.
let me just respond to that real quick with Nick Foles. Josh, you make 100% sense, but 100% sense in your explanation of why Nick Foles has pressure. I don't expect much from Nick Foles. Yeah. He was even on my list. I know he got paid. I don't expect much from him because I go with Dogmack. Like, this guy was a backup quarterback for most of his career. I know he's Super Bowl MVP. I know he outplayed Brady in one game, in a big game, in the Super Bowl. I get that. But he's still a backup quarterback. And I know he played up pretty well in the playoffs last year. Like, people really wanted him to play well, even though he didn't play all that well. Like, last year, I know he won 1 game. If it wasn't for Cody Parkey for missing that kick, I don't know if Nick Foles even have a contract. I really don't even know. If Cody Parkey makes that kick in Chicago, I'm not sure Nick Foles is even in Jacksonville. So, but people are giving Nick Foles for the reason why they won that game but he missed the kick. So
and on the other end, and you could also say with Jacksonville, remember everyone was harping on Blake Bortles. They said, oh, you could even fucking put Eli in there. Eli would bring the Jaguars right now with this team to the playoffs and potentially the AFC championship game. So if you put Nick Foles in that spot, and the Jaguars fans, if you go look at their forum or even go to their Reddit sub forum, it's just they're hype. Even we have Texans fans over here glorifying the Jaguars draft class this year. They had a pretty damn good draft class.
Jaguars had a good draft class.
Yeah, it was pretty.
They did. I honestly think there's more for the Jaguars. I think there's more pressure on Leonard Fournette than actually Nick Foles. That's just my opinion. Because Leonard Fournette, the whole narrative was that he doesn't have a quarterback, and they're stacking the box, so he can't really fulfill his full potential. And Bogman laughs at me when I say that Leonard is a next generation. I still think he's a generational back.
Right. So this is really like a pendulum year for Nick Foles, because if he does good, it's like I told you he could play, and if he does bad, it's I told you he was the Rams Nick Foles we all saw, and he's garbage. And that's what Fox is gonna love. He's gonna be back.
Fox is waiting
tagging everybody. Martini glass in hand. But honestly, my third quarterback, this one it might not be a favorable one, but I think Jimmy G is under a lot of pressure because this is the golden boy that had like a 5-0, 6-0 record before he started the new season. Then he goes in and has a 1-2 record, gets injured. Everyone was glorifying the 49ers to be that team last year, especially getting McKinnon in the backfield, a couple toys in the back. They don't have a terrible defense, but that offense couldn't stay on the field to give a defense a break last year. So, and now a lot of people are kind of saying, they might be a little bit of a surprise this year. Hey, they could be 8-9 wins, possibly make some noise. So if Jimmy G falls out though, and he doesn't perform like everyone's harping him to do and be that golden boy that he performed 6 wins at the end of the 2 years ago, everyone's going to start shitting on Jimmy G. And why did we trade for this guy? Why was Tom Brady afraid of this guy? This was his threat. This is what Tom Brady got upset by. This is you were intimidated by this garbage. So I think there's some pressure on Jimmy, because if he doesn't perform, especially under Kyle Shanahan, who's one of the most offensive, intuitive geniuses in the game, how can you fail with Kyle? It's like, shit, that's going to ruin your reputation pretty damn hard there, guys. So, but the Mahomes one is a really good one, because you're absolutely right. He has that. He's one season. He's already expected to just excel above Brady, Rodgers in fantasy terms.
I could have put Jimmy on my list.
I'm shocked.
He was hurt. He got hurt this year. And I don't think Jimmy's going to be. From an ACL injury, I'm going to throw him a mulligan this year. I want to see him in 2020. And then I'll talk about Jimmy Garoppolo. I can't really do it this year, even though it was in week 3, so he should be close to fully recovered. I'll throw Jimmy a bone and say, you know what, Jimmy, get healthy. 2020 is your year. But that's just me, though.
And you guys got a point, because Mahomes in my one league is already going to be my keeper. I established that back in September of last year. I made that my.
Hold on a second.
Listen, Josh, that's not a bad decision at all.
Hold on. Go ahead, Tim. Go ahead. I got something to say about the Patrick Mahomes thing. Go ahead.
Ooh. How dare you guys? Agree that Jimmy Garoppolo got pressure? But meanwhile, in 4th QQ, there's a post out there that says between Daz and Dak, and you guys pick Jimmy Garoppolo better than Dak Prescott, and none of y'all SOBs put Dak Prescott on y'all list with the most damn pressure.
Brian walks away.
How dare you guys? That man played 6 freaking games. His biggest highlight was him in that porn star. His biggest highlight was carrying Tom Brady.
Wait, Tim. Why didn't you put Dak on your list?
Brian, because guess what? He has no pressure. You just admitted that Jimmy Garoppolo has pressure. You just agree to that, but you make him.
No. I said no, Tim. Were you on Tim? I just said Tim. He's out on my list. I'm giving him a mulligan this year. What are you talking about?
Tim is Dak dating a porn star? Is Dak dating a porn star, Tim?
Fuck me.
Jimmy G ain't done nothing but porn.
Did you see that porn star?
Spoonie, tell him Jimmy G ain't done nothing but lotion, porn.
All he did
oil and KY jelly.
He ironed Tom Brady's drawers, spray starch in that locker room. That's his biggest 6 freaking game. He's better than Dak Prescott. But meanwhile,
no one said he's. Well, I think he's better than Dak Prescott. But no one sit down this. Nobody sit down this panel. Nobody sit down this panel. All Josh proclaimed was that Jimmy Garoppolo had more pressure because of the money that he was paid, right? And the fact that he was supposed to replace Tom Brady. And he was literally brought in from San Francisco to be their franchise quarterback for years to come.
In the way he ended out the season a couple years ago.
Yeah, the way he ended out the
6-0.
season a couple years ago.
Yeah.
That's why he was. And I agree. And I said if Jimmy G didn't get hurt last year, he'll be on my list. But I can't. But he got hurt. He got hurt.
Yeah.
So I can't give. I'm not gonna put that pressure on him because he has to come back fully healthy. Let him come back fully healthy.
He was undefeated before he came over to
he got
wasn't he?
He was 2-0. He was 2-0 in New England.
2-0, right?
5-0 in 2017 with San Fran as they were closing out that terrible year.
Mm-hmm.
Gave him all that hope.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So 2018 there was high expectations.
27 mil. 27 mil. He didn't play 6 freaking games yet for the team.
He got hurt.
Again, he got paid before he played. You play when you play, you get paid. You play, you get paid.
That's not always true. That's not always true. You get paid for projection. You know that.
Potential, absolutely.
You get paid for projection. That's not true. That is not. You don't always get played and then you get paid. You
Trajectory
get paid for projection.
Basically.
Okay. Yeah. The only players that get paid when they play, and the only players who get paid for their pass. Why is he on mute? I swear.
He deliberately did that. He understands.
You think Matt Flynn was ever going to get paid had he not had that 6 touchdown game?
Right. Exactly. Oh my, Matt Flynn is the
Matt Flynn baby
example.
Trajectory. Oh, this motherfucker can sling it. Pay him.
I mean,
pay him.
Listen, guys, we got to understand something. Tim is projecting 23 plus years of disappointment. That's what Tim is projecting right now. He's upset. Ooh. I understand you, Tim.
We got
I
five.
Understand you.
Five.
That 5 what?
I can't.
5 more years of disappointment.
I got to respect Brian.
Jason, did you have something about the Mahomes thing? I'm waiting for you to chime in. I got all excited for Jason. All right.
Listen, okay. As a BWO advocate, I just want to say that
Brown's World
Order.
What
you guys are saying. I heard what you guys are saying about Baker Mayfield and Patrick Mahomes, and they continue the success they had last season. And I'm just one of those guys that believes that if you're still on the rookie contract, you still have some time to prove that you're that franchise guy. Now we might say Prince Patrick Mahomes, he can. No, but hold on. We might say, well, Patrick Mahomes, he might not have 50 touchdowns like he did this year, but he might still have a decent year. Like he might not put up the same numbers, but you got to think too. Is like Baker Mayfield. This is going to be his 2nd season, like in the same system. I usually don't be too hard on guys who play 1 year in like one system with a new coach, but I think we got to stop saying like these guys are not fully developed yet as quarterbacks. So I understand what you guys are saying as far as like Baker Mayfield, his pressure is elevated because of the talent they put around him. But you also got to think too that those guys are going to be put into a system, that they're learning for the first year, right? Or the second year, as Baker Mayfield, you might say. Then also Patrick Mahomes. I mean, he's still under his rookie contract. Like we can't say, well, if he doesn't perform this well, like all right, he's just not the quarterback in the future. I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think it's a little bit more complex than that. We have to see how things kind of play out. That's just what I wanted to say.
Jason, it's not a matter of is he the quarterback in the future or not. It's a matter of pressure. And pressure, not just pressure that we may look at or view at as football observers and enthusiasts, but pressure from a social media aspect, from a sports media aspect. I agree with you 100%. There shouldn't be a pressure on Baker or Patrick Mahomes. But because of their performances, because of their team and team expectations, and at the end of the day, football is the consummate team sport, there are going to be these pressures applied to these guys. They're going to have to live up to performances, to team expectations that may not be realistic. Look, I don't believe Patrick Mahomes is going to throw even 35 touchdowns next season.
Ooh, that's a hot take?
That's not a hot take. That's a reality. Okay, that's a reality, and I don't believe the Browns are winning the division next season.
You know what Jason's
Okay.
doing?
Yeah, Jason,
But-
why are you doing that? Because you think it's reality to see him
But-
sustain 50 touchdowns every single year?
No, I don't think he's gonna throw 50 touchdowns. I think he might 35. I think is like I think that's probably a little bit.
That's a great
probably a
year.
little-
I mean,
I'll give-
40 is astounding. It's it's inconceivable that he got 50.
Exactly. Look at the numbers. Again, I am an
Yeah.
odds guy. I go with the numbers, and 80 to 90% of the time, the numbers will lead you to the truth. And the truth is that if Patrick Mahomes throws over 35 touchdowns next season, he would be exceeding the odds. He would be beating the odds.
Yeah, I
That's a
agree with that.
reality of it.
You know what Jason's doing right now? Jason, all he just did was he just created an excuse it's May. And he's already making excuses. He's already making excuses.
See, that's
for his
why
Browns.
Mahomes is already
That's-
getting a break from me.
That's what Jason is doing right now.
It's
Don't
not an
buy
excuse.
any of that bullshit he just said. Everything he
not
just
an
said was
excuse.
complete bullshit. Okay?
It's-
Everything he just said was
It's not an
complete bullshit. I mean,
Ja-
You know why you got that hat on, Jason?
Jason,
Oh,
you
we
want
know.
to
We know
do
that.
another?
Like,
wanna do
I don't
another
even wanna-
bet?
All he's doing right now is lessening. He's just lessening the risk of being wrong. That's all he's doing. Because we all know the Browns are going to do what they do. The Browns may make the playoffs. They may make the playoffs at 9-7 or 10. But all Jason is doing right now is just in case the Browns do what they do, which it's possible because they have Freddie Kitchens as a coach. And we don't know what the hell he can do, right? Because no one's talking about. You notice when everyone talks about the Browns, no one's talking about the coach. They're always talking about Odell. They're always talking about Baker Mayfield. They're always talking about Landry. No one's talking about Freddie Kitchens. We don't know what the hell Freddie Kitchens can do with those personalities. But all Jason's doing right now, he's just prepping us for his excuse.
Hold on.
Don't listen to this bullshit.
I'm
Don't
speaking
listen
to you
it.
guys. I'm
One
not speaking to you guys
second,
from a social media aspect. I'm speaking to you guys from a hundred.
Yeah, you're
like,
speaking
as a
you're
real
speaking
football,
to us as a
football
Browns
analyst,
fan.
okay? But
All right.
I'm just saying, like, we can't really just. This is not about the media. This is about what we think actually, is. I mean, how we see the season is going to happen. Like, and being real.
Jason.
Let's be realistic. Let's be real here. Like, I mean,
Oh,
guys-
now you want to be realistic.
no. Let's be
All of a
real.
sudden.
Let's be real. Okay.
You and Tim created a fucking group, a BWO group. Now we want to be realistic.
Well, because I'm more of an optimist, but I'm just saying, if I'm speaking being realistic, I'm just saying, like,
how many wins do the Browns get next year, Jason? How many wins? Optimist, how many wins?
Oh, they're gonna go like 10, 11 wins. 10, 11 wins. The optimist says 10 to 11 wins. Okay.
Bro, they're
That's
gonna
a
lose
lot.
6 games.
That's a big
10
step.
to 11 wins. That's. But
You realize
look at
this team went 0-16
honestly
season.
though,
Okay.
like there
Okay.
are some complexity. There's some complexities in this. I mean, we can't just say, well, I expect them to the coach to come in.
Yeah,
and
did y'all feel that? Y'all feel that? That energy shift. That's what y'all just
no,
felt.
this is
One
not
second
I
with the
think the
Browns.
Browns gonna do good, but
One
I'm
second
just
with the
saying.
Browns because Spoonie's been waiting for a few
Yeah,
minutes.
yeah.
Just
We
chime in
gotta
real quick.
wait.
quick.
Tim had his
Sorry,
hand up. Let's hear Tim. Hold on.
Tim, go ahead. What you got for us, bro?
This is the president of the BWO.
Yeah.
The president. What are you
Oh
talking about?
shit! State
Started
of the
that.
fucking union. Hey, state of the union.
Fogman, I will give you a shirt. I will give you a shirt. Okay. Well, here's the thing.
Here's the
Now,
deal.
when it comes to the Cleveland Browns, okay, last year the Browns and the Steelers tied in their first meeting, 21-21. This is the same Steelers team that had Big Ben, Connor, Antonio Brown. Yes, you have Juju. You had the core. Browns had a rookie in Baker Mayfield and Jarvis. They didn't have Freddie Kitchens, so it's not the same playbook. Nick Chubb wasn't a starting running back at that time. They were still playing the carry. There wasn't that team. Now, when you look at it, the Browns build. They build players. They build more talent on that roster on both sides of the ball. The Steelers, no disrespect, not trolling, you got depleted. You lost your number one threat in Antonio Brown. There's question marks. Juju, can he be the number one guy? Big Ben, at 38 years old, can you still get it done now that you may not have the talent to carry you? You may need to carry the young talent because now they got a bigger role. When it comes to the Browns, all Biggie got to do is don't make mistakes. You got the best wide receiver in football. You probably got the 2 best backfield in the NFL. Okay, what don't you have? You have a nice front seven in that defense. Okay, hey Brian, you said Greedy Williams was the best guy in the secondary. They got him in the second round. Okay, so when you look at talent, the Browns got the best talent in that whole AFC North. Lamar Jackson and who's that young rookie wide receiver they have? I'm sorry, I'm gonna count that out. The Bengals, okay, they got a new coach. They got AJ Green, but I don't think it is enough. AJ Green is getting older. Andy Dalton, people already give up on him already. Okay, now we got the Steelers. You're mixed with young, with youth, but inexperienced youth taking a big step with guys who are older. The Browns got the talent, they got the youth, they got it all. Now, all 4 kids you got to do is call the right plays. He's not playing. Tomlin, in my opinion, listen, no disrespect to Steelers Nation. This is the time where great teams, as the Steelers was with Big Ben's team, gotta reload all over again because of age. We don't know if Juju can be Antonio Brown. I kind of doubt that. He's gonna face a lot of coverages that he's gonna have to beat. It's gonna be a big test. It won't say that he sucked. It's a new role for him. James Washington, he hasn't done anything yet. Okay. In my opinion, the Browns are gonna win that division. And I think they may go 12-4 or 13-3. I'm gonna keep it, and I'll bet that.
Hey,
I will bet that. Go close to training camp. Close to training camp. When we get close to training camp, there's no injuries right there by August, start of the season. I'm telling you right now, I can see 12-4, 13-3. This team is lit on both sides of the ball.
Tim, I'm gonna say this last thing. I know you got to move on.
Mm-hmm.
I respect the energy. I respect you keeping that energy because you have been consistent with it, and that's why I have Baker Mayfield as one of the guys who has a lot of pressure on him because as the guys who's throwing the football, he already has a team in his second year. Like he has a Super Bowl contending football team. Even though Jason's trying to downplay it because he wants to soften that cushion. Okay, he has a Super Bowl, like you said, and you're right. Everything right now is going for them. The Steelers, my team, we're kind of limping in. We lost 2 of our top stars. The Bengals are the Bengals. They have a new coach. Andy Dalton's not who he is. AJ Green's getting older. Defense is still, it's still in shambles. Okay, and then the Ravens are probably one of the biggest enigmas in the league right now. I don't know what the hell you're gonna get with Lamar Jackson. You don't know what the hell you're gonna get with that offense and John Harbaugh. And they just lost Terrell Suggs. The defense may not be that great. If the Browns don't win 12 to 13 games, it's a failure.
That's crazy.
I don't care what anybody says.
That's too much of a jump.
Failure. It's too much of a jump. But yeah, Tim makes points that it's there for them. like it's there. And Baker Mayfield has already been heralded as one of the best quarterbacks, honestly, one of the best young guys in the league.
Does anybody know trivia-wise what's the biggest marginal improvement we've seen in the NFL from one season from a team? Has it been like 7 wins?
No,
6?
I think it's like 10 wins. And I think that the most recent one was the Rams.
I would say the Browns. The Browns won 8 games.
I was thinking the Jaguars. The Browns maybe.
No, I think the Rams went from 4-12 to 12-4, I believe.
I thought the Browns go 8-8 last year, right? Or 7-9? 7-9, 8-8.
7-9.
They were 0-7.
Okay, yeah.
0-16 in the year before. So like 7. That's a 70% increase. Like, I
just think that's crazy to go 7 to 12. Yeah, that's a huge jump.
No, and Tim, I'm willing to take that bet. What bet would you like to? Because I don't believe the Browns win 12 games next.
Forget my bet. Forget my bet, Frog. But
don't forget the bet.
No.
You said you're willing to bet on it.
I'm excited. We need the second official bet of 4 QQ. Let's go, fellas.
There's a bigger bet here that we got one of Our supporters here, Bobby Zaloga on the chat basically said that he wants to bet Fogman that Mahomes
Ooh.
35 touchdowns.
We'll throw over 35. Yeah.
Over
Okay.
35 touchdowns. I think that's a.
That's
I like
fair.
that. I like that.
I'm all for that, Bobby. We can actually discuss that. I'm willing to take that bet because I don't believe he throws for over 35 touchdowns next season.
I think he will.
And you have to
Brian
be
will.
specific. Is it total touchdowns or passing? So he can't be like, oh, it's good.
Throwing touchdowns.
And Brian, we all know the chocolate writer and Aunt Sis and Miss Sharon. He's backing you up with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Say they still got it. So you got your supporters out there.
Well, I think we still got I think we're gonna regress. Personally, I do. People are saying we should get better by addition, by subtraction. I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. I think we're gonna regress. So,
but you should still, in all honesty, Steelers they're in contention and should still potentially win that division.
I actually got a question for you fellas. It's just a quick little trivia thing because I just looked at this myself when Tim was talking about AJ Green. I was like, let me look up something. How far apart in years do you think AJ Green and Des Bryant are in age?
1 year.
I would say 1 year.
Yeah, 1.5.
Who do you think's older?
AJ. No, AJ.
what was the question? What was the question?
I was just kind of shocked because I honestly was a little off. Who do you think is older between AJ Green and Des Bryant, and how far apart do you think they are?
Actually, I think Dez is younger.
AJ's older. AJ's like 31, right?
I think Dez is younger. I think he's like 30.
Yeah, Des turns 30 this year. AJ turns 31 this season, I believe.
That's what's crazy because I for some reason in my head I feel like Dez is like 32, but he's only 30.
He's like 30,
like 186 days, but AJ Green is older by 100 days. Yeah, so he turns 31 this July before the season even starts. I was pretty surprised by that. I was like, damn.
The thing with people thought with Dez was that people thought he broke down too early. Yeah. That's why it was
being a baby coming out. Yeah, I feel you. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
That
was just interesting to me. I didn't know that. I honestly thought Dez was older.
He came to the league when he was 20. He got kicked out of Oklahoma State, so he had no choice but to come to the league. So,
all right, fellas, let's get into the next topic. That was a good one. And this one's it'll basically just go around the rookie quarterbacks this year. And this one is all about, in our opinion, which rookie quarterback is in the best position for success, and which rookie quarterback, do you also think is in the spot to be set up right now for immediate failure? And Timmy, you wanna start us off with this topic? This should be a good one too.
Easily. Listen, no surprise here. The best quarterback right now with the best spot is Daniel Jones with the New York Giants. As a Cowboy fan, I hate to say it, but Daniel Jones is the best quarterback. The one for failure is Dwayne Haskins. And I'll say my reasons why. Bogman, you okay? Okay. Allergies. I know. Allergies kicking you.
Yeah, my allergies are bothering me. I'm allergic to anything related to Dallas Cowboys.
See, we talk about energy here, right?
We're keeping it.
Brian, go get that power bar. Okay.
He's going right now. It's in his gym bag. You got that, Brian?
So
keep that energy, Tim.
Oh, man.
See, here's the thing.
Tim's on Duracell right now.
For the NFL draft, it was hilarious because I will always say the Giants took a quarterback with the number 6 overall pick too early. That was laughable. But now we're past that. We on the rosters. When you look at the rosters, first of all, Daniel Jones is behind a Hall of Fame quarterback in Eli Manning. I don't care how we make fun of him, how the way he talks or whatever. The man has proved everybody wrong, not once but twice on the biggest stage, and won it in the biggest stage. So when it comes to that, you're behind Eli Manning. Then let's go to talent. Out of all these rookie quarterbacks, Dwayne Haskins, Kyler Murray, what's his name, Drew Lock, who has a better running back? A quarterback's best friend is a running back. He has Saquon Barkley. Who the hell do those guys got? Okay, first of all, yes, I know. They got Bryce Love and Geis in Washington, but you got an ACL injury, 2 ACL running backs who they got to perform. You understand what I'm saying? But they're not near better than what Barkley is. Now, let's go to wide receiver and tight end. Well, first of all, Daniel Jones has that. He has a better wide receiver corps, even without Odell being there. He has a better tight end than what Dwayne Haskins has. And of course, what Drew Lock has. And what does Kyler Murray have? Kyler Murray has an aging veteran, Hall of Fame veteran in Larry Fitzgerald, who's not the same. His name is big, but not his game. Like how that rhymes, right? His name is big, but not his game. Okay, I made that up. So, again, forget the draft. It's over. Look at the roster. Daniel Jones, in my opinion, is the best fit. Now, earlier, because keep the energy up, we'll talk about coaching-wise. Well, in my opinion, what the hell does James, Jack, whatever Gruden has done in the league? Nothing. At least Pat Shurmur has led an offense in the top 5. At least he has done that. What has what's his name? Kingsbury? Ben and Jerry Ice Cream? What has he done with the Cardinals to be proven anything? Nothing. He hasn't done anything. Okay, let's go to Denver. Who's their head coach? I mean, we got a Hall of Fame. We have a Hall of Fame GM in John Elway, who's a quarterback, and he can't even pick a quarterback still. So how the hell? It's funny when Daniel Jones was picked number 6 overall. We all laughed at the ball. Bobby Zaloga, me and you was there. We was partying. We was drinking. We was celebrating. See, now the game is different now. Now we're talking about roster. Look at the roster. Look who has the better surrounding around them. Daniel Jones. We could troll. You could joke. There's nobody better than what the Giants got on that offense. Dwayne Haskins doesn't have it. Not at all. He's still hurt. Kyler Murray, this is not college, son. Drew Lock, whatever.
Pretty powerful stuff right there, too. Mr. Sutton, you want to bat second for us?
Can you guys hear me? All right, so the quarterback is going to be set up to see, and I don't think they're going to have a great year, but they're going to have an improvement. The quarterback is Kyler Murray. I mean, Tim makes a good point about Cliff Kingsbury as far as like how that system is going to play out at the pro level, and he doesn't have a good track record, but I like what they did in the draft. I like they got Eddie Isabella and they got Hakeem Butler. They put some talent around Kyler Murray. Now, another thing, too, is like he's already going to get that full year of experience as a quarterback, as a rookie. So he's kind of a little bit ahead of the curve than the other quarterbacks that got drafted. And I think that maybe this year he might put up some decent numbers, might have some errors here and there, but I think it's going to be beneficial for him come the next season because they got that continuity in that same system. The quarterback that I think is going to fail you, I think, is Drew Luck. And I think Drew Luck was probably one of the better quarterbacks. I think he was the best quarterback in the draft, just personally. But I just don't – something about Denver and how they're kind of – I don't know where they're at as a team as far as like where the roster's constructed. And they got Joe Flacco, who they brought in, who I don't really believe is the quarterback of the future. But I think John Elway is going to put so much stock into him. I mean, he's already came out and said, well, he's just entering his prime, which I don't believe that at all. And Joe Flacco has always been kind of an average quarterback. And I think John Elway is going to stick with him, which is going to be kind of – I don't think they're going to do enough to put, around Drew Luck to kind of put him in a position to succeed. So those are my 2 picks.
I like it. Brian, what you got for us, bud? That
Sorry
damn MacBook.
Sorry about that, guys. Before I answer this question, I just want to make sure I have it clear. The question is, which rookie quarterback do we think is going to have the best immediate success or just success in general?
Well, basically, put in the best spot right now to succeed. I would say overall, as
overall,
it could go real bad, real quick for these rookies.
Okay.
So
contrary to popular belief, I'm not going to pick Kyler Murray. I actually went a little deeper in the draft, and it's a guy who I believe right now is sitting behind a future Hall of Famer. He's sitting behind Phillip Rivers, and that's Easton Stick. The reason why I chose Easton Stick out of North Dakota State is because Easton Stick to me, and me and Fogmec talked about this on our show, our old show, that won't be mentioned. Probably we need to rebrand that. But anyways, we talked about our top 5 quarterbacks in coming out of the draft, and Easton Stick was on my list, and I had to pull up my own notes. I love Easton Stick out of North Dakota State. He backed up Carson Wentz, so people know. Easton Stick took his team to the national title game and lost, but he still took his team to the national title game in the FCS, of course. And I think he's sitting pretty behind Phillip Rivers. I think he's going to play very, very soon because Phillip Rivers they're not. He said he's at peace, not renewing a deal. I think honestly, Phillip Rivers is done after this year. I think he's pretty content I don't think he's one of those guys that's got to keep playing until he's 40, 41, 42. He has 9 kids. He wants to be home with them and make more kids, So I think he's going to be gone. I think he's going to be gone sooner rather than later. And then Easton Stick, I feel like is going to be in a position to succeed because he's going to have a team that's already tailor-made. And you guys help me out. I can't remember this guy, the coach's name. I forgot to look him up. The Raiders, the LA Chargers coach this past year. Great coach.
Anthony
Lynn. Thank you. I didn't think it was Anthony Lynn. Fantastic coach. Defensive guy, but fantastic football coach. And that defense is full of studs. So Easton Stick's going to come into a situation where he's not going to have to carry an offense, but he's going to have a defense to help him out for years to come, led by Derwin, led by Bosa, Ingram. I mean, that team is stacked defensively. So, and for years to come, very young defense. So I think Easton Stick, not Kyler Murray, I think Easton Stick is the guy who is going to be in the best position to succeed. And I'm going to go to my worst quarterback. I've had to delve even deeper into the draft, okay, with this guy. It's not a first-round pick. It's the guy who was drafted in the 6th round, I believe. He's Jarrett Stidham in New England. Why do I think he's going to have a pretty bad career? Why? Because he's not going to get coached by Bill Belichick. Once Tom Brady is gone, so is Bill Belichick, and then Jarrett Stidham is going to be left with nothing in New England. So that's why I chose Jarrett Stidham as the guy I believe who's going to have a very bad. People think Jarrett Stidham's going to come in and Bill Belichick's going to build this new robotic quarterback out of Auburn, who is actually not bad. Actually, he's not a bad quarterback. I actually like Jarrett. He made a lot of mistakes at Auburn. He's kind of threw some crazy passes. They actually, no, I won't get into that because they were like 1 or 2 interceptions away from actually being better than they were. But Jarrett, it's because of Jarrett. But I don't think he's going to get Josh McDaniels and Bill Belichick. He's going to get those guys. He's going to get whoever the hell they bring afterwards. So that's why I didn't pick Kyler Murray because he's kind of an enigma. I'm not sure. I think he's going to be great, really, really good, but kind of an enigma. And Dwayne Haskins was going to be my second guy who was going to be the worst because he plays in Washington. Like, if he played anywhere else, I would have chosen somebody else. I'm high on Dwayne Haskins. I just don't trust who he's playing under. And I don't mean Jay Gruden because I think he's perfect for the offense. I mean Daniel Snyder. I mean Bruce Allen. Those are the guys I'm worried about with Dwayne Haskins. But yeah, it's Easton Stick for me as the best and Jarrett Stidham as the worst.
I appreciate that thinking outside the box mentality. It's pretty interesting. Fox.
I want to say Brian almost stole my thunder there. Because Jarrett Stidham was that second guy. My first guy to be in the position for failure is Kyler Murray. Because of the team he's at, because of where he was drafted, and the expectations of him. Listen, let's face it. The only thing on offense that he's got going for him is David Johnson. There's nothing else they've got going for them.
David fucking Johnson.
That's it.
Yeah.
Their defense, listen, I like their draft. It was a pretty good draft. But this is not a team that is anywhere near resembling a team that's going to be in the playoff picture in the next 2 or 3 years. That's a reality. And unfortunately for Kyler Murray, that's the situation that he's in. You know, Kyler Murray is basically in a whorehouse with no women. That's the situation he fell into right now. My quarterback for success is Ryan Finley. Brian,
It makes sense.
Brian, listen to me on this one. Look, Ryan Finley has his deficiencies. He struggles with reading defenses, but he goes through his progressions well. His footwork needs some work. But when you look at the overall team and you look at what's built there and the fact that they've got a guy, a coach in Zach Taylor, I believe, who was a quarterback coach, you've put him in a position with a young team, a young core of players on the offensive and defensive side, where he's able to groom into a position where he's going to be, where he could be Andy Dalton's successor. My belief is this: he can't be any worse than Andy Dalton. So if that's the case, there's a significant upside here to Ryan Finley. And if Zach Taylor can be the guru that he was and the quarterback whisperer that he was with Jared Goff, then Ryan Finley has a promising future as an average quarterback in the NFL for the Cincinnati Bengals.
I am fucking Finley.
You're welcome.
It's so funny that you said Ryan Finley though, because I'm just thinking to myself, Andy Dalton's gotten away with just decent regular seasons, shit in the playoffs, and he's had a pretty, I guess you could say it's a successful career because he's still getting money, still getting paid, still getting those contracts. So those are some interesting picks. I had a little I have to say the Daniel Jones one is kind of interesting because he does get to sit. He doesn't have any pressure on him to come in and immediately have to succeed. What's that note, Brian? What's that? Are you crunching a water bottle?
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, good. But yeah, Daniel Jones doesn't have the pressure to succeed right away. He's going to have an opportunity to sit behind Eli. As fun as Eli is to make fun of and do, mouth breathing status that he is, he's a very knowledgeable guy, and that's a great person to start to learn from. Looking at Daniel Jones, actually, I was actually content with Daniel Jones. I actually posted on the Giants forums way back in the beginning. I have a little screenshot here actually to prove it. I actually did support Daniel Jones way back on April 4th when I was posting about it on the Giants forums. I said, hey, looking at Daniel Jones, he looks like a New York Giants quarterback from top to bottom. Everything about him looks like he was going to just basically, just roll over to us. He looks like Eli Manning with a faster 40 time, honestly. He really does.
He's Eli Manning's little brother. Not that talented.
There's a lot of knack on him. I get it about playing at Duke and not having the great numbers, but when you look at, I was watching a lot of his senior year. That Clemson game really stood out because you could tell his team gave up on him, and he was the only one just getting up and getting pummeled in the dirt and getting back up, and it really just reminisced me of Eli back in that 2011 San Fran championship game where I actually gained a lot of respect for Eli, as much as he is to make fun of and easy to get mad at for some of his doofy play style. He was a man amongst men in that game, and that's what I saw out of DJ in that Clemson game. That D-line kept his offensive line was a bunch of turnstiles, and that Clemson D-line, if not the best college football D-line possibly ever, or top three, it was just like Wilkins, Lawrence, Farrell. It was ridiculous. So I gained a lot of respect for DJ watching that tape, and he had to resort to the kind of like West Coast offense over there at Duke. And Dave Cutcliffe knew that because looking at his receivers, 30 plus drops in the deep balls we're no damn better. So what are you going to keep doing? Are you going to keep throwing deep balls when your receivers can't catch shit? Or are you going to go little dink and dunks where your little, guy that's working at Enterprise car rental now can catch a fucking ball? So that's why Daniel Jones didn't have sexy numbers. And he actually was ranked above Tua on the deep pass for adjusted completion percentage, which is very interesting. So I actually look forward to seeing him start.
Tua's a future flop.
I'm a little giddy to see Eli finally get out. I want to see like a new sheriff in town for the Giants. We kind of need a new face over there. So I think he is set up for success. Now the failure part, I actually agree with Fox. He could be dynamic as fuck, but right now I just have a worry about Kyler Murray over there in Arizona because one, you're dealing with the GM and Steve Keim, who doesn't seem like he has it all together. He doesn't even seem like he knows how to play GM in football. Traded up for Rosen and then
Wilkes.
Basically just fucking backfires on his own game plan. Less than a year later, has no idea. He's probably going to 40 different people for insight. It's like, what should I do? Should I ask her out? Should I not ask her out? She's talking to this other guy. Steve Keim, get it the fuck together. Jesus, it's ridiculous. And now Kyler's going to go over there. You saw what Josh Rosen had to play behind. 5 offensive linemen dead. He had all of his starters done. And I don't know if it's a conditioning thing over there in Arizona. Maybe they need to look into their training and conditioning staffing coach like the Giants had to do because the guy was like 102 years old. Maybe Arizona has the same issue. It's ridiculous. And like Fogmick said, he has nobody over there. You could say David Johnson, but even David Johnson's had a knack of not being able to do shit lately. So now you have a 40-year-old Larry Fitzgerald, Christian Kirk, who kind of it drops these issues. Ricky Seals-Jones, I believe, had the same issues. It's not really looking good over there. I don't even know who their starting tight end is right now. Fox, can you name that? Is it Fells still? Is it Darren Fells still? Again, he is not really.
He might be Jesus Christ. I don't know.
And then we're talking about implementing a new style of offense, which is coming from the college game into the pros. Have we ever seen that have long-term success? We've seen the Wildcat with Ronnie Brown. That was fun as fuck for 6 games. Fizzled out. We saw the pistol offense. That was fun as fuck for a few games and fizzled out. We saw that was basically the Wildcat with Ronnie Brown. That was the Wildcat. And then we saw Chip Kelly try to come in, implement his little style of offense from Oregon and, control the roster based on what he thought was deemed fit for the NFL. Flop. So what makes us think Kingsbury is going to come over and get the guy that he wanted ever since high school, implement this new running gun or, what is it? The West Pass or I'm sorry. Air raid. Thank you. I apologize. Air raid offense from Tech days. It's just like, how do you really have that much stock bought into him to have success immediately? I get he's dynamic as fuck and his deep ball is pretty, but his receivers aren't going to catch anything.
I would say this. Brian, answer that. Brian, he's a Kyler Murray man. Answer that.
Let me just say the air raid offense is not really new to the NFL. I mean, it's just RPO and everybody's just kind of running a seam.
The Gilbride offense.
It's an RPO and everyone's running a seam and he's just pretty much it's scripted. It's what Oklahoma runs. It's pretty much almost what the Rams kind of run. It's pretty much scripted. It's one read and you throw it. Like the college people realize the college game is actually integrating into the NFL. And soon enough, the NFL is going to look just like college football. I don't know people. It's going to look just like college football, where everyone's going to be in shotgun, and everyone's going to be doing RPOs, and everyone's going to be doing, air raiding. It's a lot. All is some seams, some post routes. That's pretty much what the air raid is. And look, I agree. Look, the Cardinals aren't really loaded with talent. Obviously, there's a reason why they're picking number 1 overall, right? So they're not loaded with talent. That's why they got Kyler Murray. But I've been saying this for a while. I think Kyler Murray, they won 3 games last year. Kyler Murray is going to be worth 2 more wins because he's a playmaker, right? He can run. And not only can he run, he's a safe runner. He's like a Russell Wilson, but he's faster. He played baseball.
With that body frame, though?
He knows how to protect his body. I'm not too worried about if he was like I worry more about Lamar Jackson because he's just reckless. Like Michael Vick was reckless.
RG3 was reckless.
RG3 was reckless. RG3 couldn't even slide, for God's sake. He didn't even know how to slide. He got hurt sliding. That's crazy. I always say RG3 is one of the most unathletic guys I've ever seen in my life. It's so weird. Lamar Jackson's the same way. Like, he just flips and turns and I'm like, oh, those guys are get killed out there. But I feel like these baseball guys who come in, like obviously Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray. I can't think of anyone else who played baseball. But those guys know how to go down. They know how to slide and get back up. So I don't think he's not gonna just bolster himself into 295 pound Haloti Nadas out there and call it a day and say, I gotta win this game for my team. Hell no. Like, that's not what he's gonna do. So I get the frame. I'm not too worried about it. The guy
But it's those Aaron Rodgers type throws where Anthony Barr caught his collarbone. It's those ones where he's rolling out of the pocket because his O-line makeshift can't protect him, and he has to roll out, try to get a deep bomb off, and then boom, as he's getting that ball off, takes that hit. Ooh, but he's 5'9" and 3/4.
The rules have changed, and people are a little more subconscious about how they tackle these quarterbacks now. That was pre, I believe that was pre, like Aaron Rodgers created that rule. Right? Remember when he got hurt, Anthony Barr?
You can't land on them, right?
Your body. Right. You can't land them anymore. So I think
it's still going to happen, though.
It still may happen, but I don't think it's going to happen as much.
And that little yellow flag is not going to put Kyler Murray's ribs back together.
I'm not worried about his. Like I said, I was more worried about Lamar Jackson coming into the league than Kyler Murray. But what I want to say is that I think Kyler Murray was second on my list for best to succeed because of Kingsbury. Kyler Murray is not going to have the learning curve for him. It's not going to be that steep in terms of the playbook. Now, the speed of the game, like, he runs a 4.3, great, but so does this defensive end. So that's something he's going to have to get used to. That's something that Lamar Jackson even had to get used to when he came into the league. Lamar Jackson wasn't hitting that curve or hitting that corner fast enough. Those holes and the passing lanes close a little bit faster. And Lamar Jackson is still getting used to that. So if there's anything that Kyler Murray is going to have to get used to learning curve wise, it's the speed of the game. I don't think the playbook for him is to be like, oh, I ran this in college. Cool. Like, he's going to know exactly what to do with the football. So honestly, I'll give a win total for the Cardinals. I think they're going to win 6 games because of Kyler Murray. They're going to be in some games because this kid is dynamic as they come, and he plays it safe. That's why I like the guy.
Could be interesting. Last year they had a negative 200 point differential, only scoring 225 all year. Yeah, so 3 wins would definitely be an improvement for them. Does anybody else have anything they want to, harp in on the rookie quarterbacks? We probably have waste a few more minutes here if anybody has anything they want to say. Any garbage you want to spew, people? Any bets? Anything that trickles? Someone make some bets, people. Let's go. It's football's coming.
I got one. Hey, Tim, about my bet about Devin Funchess. You said 4 touchdowns. 4 touchdowns.
Ooh, Tim, I will say like 5.
You let me know if you want to make that bet because I
with
see
the Mahomes
touchdowns.
bet, Fox. You're going to solidify that? That could be interesting too.
Oh no, I'm solidifying that. Listen, I just had Bobby friend request me.
There you go. That's
that bet is going down without question.
Actually, I got a question for the host, Josh. When do we see Daniel Jones? What week do you think we see him? Because I got a week in my head, but I want to see if it's close to yours. What week do we see Daniel Jones?
Game number 16.
Yeah, shit. That's such a good question, man, because I could see him sitting the whole year, to be honest. Like, there's not really expectations of, making the playoffs and going deep. So, when's the proper time to sit Eli? Is if we start 0-6? What if we're like to start the season like 5-4 or 6-5 or something like that? Is that a reason to sit Eli yet, or is it just you're still rebuilding? It's a rebuilding year. You got young defensive backs with Love and Baker and all them, and Jabril Peppers, and Bethea's an old man who's going to be out soon. So that's the point.
I've got a Gettleman theory on the Giants.
I want to hear it because he's an unpredictable man.
Here's the thing. We could look at film of Daniel Jones in his catalog all day, Josh.
I'm sure DG's ready to get rid of Eli right now, to be honest. I think Mara's the one that wants him to.
I think there was this false hope that the Giants were going to have success last season. And like Tim and I discussed, if there was failure in any way, that would make Odell trade bait.
Mm-hmm.
And that occurred. They weren't as successful as they thought they were going to be. I I believe Gettleman and the Giants were scouting Daniel Jones, which was the reason why they went Saquon Barkley as opposed to a quarterback. I think the Giants figured in their expectations of having some success and being competitive next season that they would have been picking between 13 and 20 or 22 in the draft next season, and nobody would have been talking about Daniel Jones. But Gil Brandt, who is now suffering from Billpolian disease, he put out there that Daniel Jones was comparable to Peyton Manning, in which I almost fell out my chair, shit myself, and threw up at the same time. And I think that the Giants thought that they had this figured out until the team shit the bed. They had to trade Odell because they weren't going to sell Odell on Daniel Jones. And they needed to make a decision at the quarterback position. And because of the draft selection and the fact that, in all honesty, I've dove into this thoroughly, only the Denver Broncos would have been a potential suitor. For Daniel Jones, I think the Giants jumped the gun, grabbed Daniel Jones, and said, you know what? We'll take him now. We'll play out Eli. And I'm going to draft according to the way I want to set this team up.
Well, let me ask you real quick. What makes you think the Redskins didn't want DJ if they just sat so complacently at 15, waiting for their? You don't wait for your franchise quarterback. If you knew Dwayne Haskins was the one, you don't just fucking sit there and hope he lands in your lap.
Here's why. I don't think anybody. Brian will testify to this. Even from my first mock draft, Dwayne Haskins was dropping out of the top 10. I did not have Haskins going to the Giants because I didn't believe they wanted him. The fact that Haskins fell into Washington's lap, I think Washington viewed it. I want to say they accidentally stumbled on success because I don't think I think they realized that Haskins was going to be available. I believe that they might have known that Miami wasn't going to go quarterback. And I believe that they might have known, or there was some, again, these teams have more access to information to each other than we do. But the fact that they were capable of sitting back, because I thought they were going to trade up to get Haskins. The fact that they sat back leads me to believe they knew Haskins was going to fall to them, and they had no worries about it. And when you see at everything, Josh, Miami, it was reported Miami wasn't even interested in the quarterback. They were going to do the Cleveland Browns 2.0 and say, fuck it. We're going to get positional players and look at quarterback later on down the road.
And as bad as Miami needs a quarterback, don't you think it's funny they said, fuck Dwayne Haskins, he can fall?
Yep. Listen, if I may,
it's Ryan Fitzpatrick over there. It's like, they viewed Rosen better than Haskins, apparently.
You want to build your team from the inside out. And again,
absolutely.
Josh, I said this. Brian can testify to this again because he has said this. This quarterback draft class was nowhere near as good as the classes the year before. Mm-hmm. And all of these quarterbacks and their deficiencies, they were only souped up and brought to the limelight because of sports media. The reality is when you look at the tape on all of these guys, only Dwayne Haskins and Kyler Murray have the better upsides out of all these quarterbacks. Again, in my opinion, after watching countless hours of tape.
1 year, though. 1 year.
But Dwayne Haskins is still a work in progress.
Plus of the tidbits that come along with him. Do you even know who Daniel Jones's parents are? Do you know Daniel Jones is like his father's name? His
No.
last name? You already know Dwayne Haskins' father's name, though. You already
Yes.
know Dwayne Haskins' father has a business and is already predicting these Super Bowls. You think fucking Gettleman wants that after you just got rid of Odell? That's a red flag already. Just that one thing. It's nothing about Haskins' play style. That one red flag is enough to say, no, you're not coming to New York.
I agree, Josh. I agree with that.
You wanna know what kills me?
It's nothing about Dwayne Haskins' play style. It's that just the semantics that's around him, the family aspect. It's like we want you to come up, shut up, and play as a New York quarterback, and that's what Daniel Jones is going to do. And Daniel Jones is also going to take the Eli aspect for his whole career. I guarantee this. Anytime something goes wrong, Daniel Jones is going to blame himself and say he needs to play better. If there's something wrong with Saquon or fucking Jabril Peppers, whoever it might be, if somebody drops the ball in the end zone and that was the game winner, Daniel Jones is going to say, I need to play better.
I got even better. You know, being at the draft live, and I go every year, I had a ball. I mean, it was so much fun. But what I love about it, I love speaking to fans with their opinions on the draft and the players. Mm-hmm. And, you know, one thing, you know, with this Daniel Jones stuff, and not to all Giant fans, but the ones you know who you are, you know, your energy is crap. Some of your energy is so crap. You know, when you see fans, oh, they didn't take Dwayne Haskins, I'm not a Giant fan no more. Why? Because of the color of his skin? Fuck the color of the skin. It's the player you want. You want every player to succeed. We want listen, do I want Dwayne Haskins to have a good career? Of course we do. As a regular fan, as a football fan, as a Cowboy fan, no, we're going to stomp him in the mouth. But I would never, ever, ever come out and say because my team didn't pick this guy, I'm no longer a fan or whatever. Are you fans out there? Are you going to give the team an apology letter? Give them all those millions of dollars back to say, here's the money in your bank account because I wanted to draft that guy and he didn't pan out for you? No, you fucking not. You're not going to do that shit. So stop at the crime with the fucking tears already. You know, the thing is this. You know, again, when you're a fan, you're a fan of your team. You support your fucking team all the way 100%. Okay, we got fucking Saints fans, we got Rams fans. There wasn't shit back then, and we still got them here. Look, Detroit Lions fans. We know Cal. Listen, Cal is a big time Detroit Lion fan. They haven't done shit for years. You don't see him giving up. Okay, come on. I mean, it's Jason. He's a Colts fan. My God, they haven't done shit since Peyton Manning. Okay, they went through their ups and downs. Here's the thing, and there's no disrespect to fans out there. When you want to quit on your team because they didn't take a quarterback or a player, you're not a fucking fan. Go watch some ballet or go watch some other shit with a tutu, you know, with a dress around it. Hell, you know what? Go to Odell Beckham, that party Odell Beckham Jr. went to. Take. You know what? If that was a dress, I don't know, it was a kilt or dress, whatever. Wear the fucking dress, okay? Watch some novellas or some soap opera bullshit and don't watch the fucking game. Plain and simple. I got sick and tired of because they took Daniel Jones and not Dwayne Haskins. I would respect if you said you took the value of Daniel Jones, the wrong pick. You should have went to defensive play or another play, offensive line, like Fogman said. Fogman right here and Brian. They do college football. They watch the shit. They don't sit here and look at cover magazines with fucking numbers and bullshit. They watch the fucking game. And when you question them, their draft analogy about, well, this guy sucks. Well, who is that guy? How about this? Turn your fucking TV or go read a book or go to the Barnes and Noble and research the motherfucker. Don't come in here and log on and stop with the shit, with the bullshit. If you don't know the fucking play, at least have the decency to say, hey, Fog, hey, Brian, do you know these guys? Tell me about it. Have some fucking respect. You know, put some respect on it. That's the thing. I get tired of these fans out here. Don't watch the. I don't want to hear no. And you Giant fans, you know who you are. Don't come here rooting for Daniel Jones. Oh, you see that throw X, Y, and Z. Motherfucker, you just came out and said the man was trash. You're not a Giant fan. All you hop in the bandwagon, that means you wasn't even a Giant fan when Eli Manning won the Super Bowl. That means you hopped on this shit and now you want to hop off. You're not a fan. You're not a
Josh.
fan.
Josh, I got a question for you, Josh.
What's up?
I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, that's keeping that energy, dude. That's what the whole point of this fucking show.
We love the energy, Tim.
Keep that shit.
I'm disappointed that I don't have to disagree with you here.
Well, I don't just let me just kind of respond to him real quick. Let me just respond to him real quick. And because everything he said was correct. Like everything, like you got to be a real fan. You can't just jump off the bandwagon.
But it's fair to be critical of your team.
But it's fair to be critical of your team, and it was fair to be critical of that pick because if you know college football, like you said, we do. Me and Fogg watch a lot of it. Like I said, I'm a bigger college football fan than an NFL fan, in my opinion.
Keeping that energy, baby. Let's do this.
Daniel Jones on so many people's mock drafts, QB rankings. You can even, I mean, Mel Kiper loved the guy, but Mel Kiper's always wrong. But you know, he's right a lot of times too. He's right. No, he's right a lot of times too. But he likes to be the outlier. I know his MO these days. Everybody else had Daniel Jones rated 5, 6, 7, 4. I'm reading a list right now, by the way. Okay, 4, 7, 6, like it was the value of the pick of where he was chosen. And if I'm a Steeler fan, we're picking, right? And this could be any position. It's gonna be quarterback. It could be any position. Let's say wide receiver. And my team is picking the 7th rated wide receiver over the 1st. I don't give a damn what my GM loves about this receiver who he just chose, or I don't give a damn what they saw or what they're trying to replace. Or you pick the best dude. Okay, that was the issue. So many people had, football fans had, and another issue I took with the Giants was it wasn't Dwayne Haskins. The color of his skin thing is stupid. I'm not even gonna go there. That's a stupid. I don't want to discredit that because honestly, you play the race card in any situation because race is there. It's a thing. We got to live by it. We got to see it. We got to accept
100%.
it. You can do it, right? But I don't think that's the case here. The problem is with the Giants is that they have seen the regression of a guy like Eli Manning, right? He's regressing. He's getting older. Everything about him is regressing, okay? And you see a guy like a Dwayne Haskins sitting there who is rated to be better than Daniel Jones in every single box there is. And the Giants, again, for the second time, for the second year in a row, they don't capitalize on getting I guess they got their franchise quarterback, but they don't capitalize on getting the guy they should probably projectedly should have gotten in a Dwayne Haskins or Kyler Murray or Drew Lock, somebody better than Daniel Jones. I'm not. And one thing, Josh, I want to say this. The one thing Josh made a lot of sense in saying, because it's true. It's very, 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 very true. A lot of these moves the Giants are making are culture-changing moves. And I 100% agree with that. And I 100% agree that one of the reasons why they didn't take Dwayne Haskins is because of his personality. I'm not even going to lie to you. Like, I watched a lot of college football. I didn't even know Dwayne Haskins was that pompous. I didn't even know he was like that. I had no idea. And I get, you just got rid of Odell Beckham Jr., who's a social media mogul who loves to be seen. And he was a wide receiver. Like, and I understand you don't want Dwayne Haskins in that same light as your quarterback. If that's the case, fine. But there are other guys you could have chosen besides Daniel Jones. And it's just, it's where he was chosen because of it's the value of where he was chosen. It's what's really frustrating.
But
I think a lot of Giants
you,
fans.
or is that based on your speculation of believing what the media is feeding you, saying Dwayne Haskins is so much better based on I have
That's based
4th and 7th and 6th on Daniel Jones. If
Well,
he's so much better, why
is
was
that a
there
rhetorical
such
question or is that a real question?
It is a real question. I mean, if he's so great, why is this such a great quarterback falling all the way to the mid round in the first? If he's so great, he doesn't fall to the mid round. And if he's so great and he's your answer for your organization, You don't fucking sit there and hope he lands to you. If you want him, you take him right there. That's why the Giants took him at 6.
It's
Around and say, oh, well, we fucked up again this year, guys. Now we got to sell for Drew Lock or Will Greer the second. We fucked up again. Well, give Eli another contract extension because we got to wait for Tula or Jake.
Here's the reason why they waited. And again, Josh, I said this. Don't do the team either. There's a possibility that they had an idea. Look,
Alex, I'm glad you said that real quick before you go off. I'm glad you rebrought because I wanted to agree with you. How does this not make sense as the easiest transition for Eli to be sent off? It's a Duke quarterback that he's worked with in the past, a Dave Cutcliffe member. He's practiced with him before in the past, and it's such an easy. If Eli, it makes it so much easier for him to fight off too.
So, can I ask Josh one question real quick about that?
Okay.
Like, so what is it really about? Is it about getting the best guy for the position or for the team, like the talent wise, or is it about like making this perfect like little storyline that is gonna send Eli off, and then you bring his predecessor in because he was coached by his college coach and David Cutcliffe? Like, what is it? And understand it's a culture thing, but at the end of the day, like, are you gonna reach? Is it worth the reach?
It's basically,
is it really worth that reach just to have that little storyline?
I compare it to the car you're looking for. Do you really need a sunroof? Are you looking for like the fucking rear view camera and all that shit? Does that fit your style of what you're going for? If it is, fantastic, you're gonna take that guy. If not, I'm gonna look elsewhere. And DJ, he does fit that. He does have some of the talent. We haven't seen it in college because of his I believe it's his corps, his wide receivers. They're all partly working at Enterprise right now. I'm sorry.
I don't agree. That's the part.
That's fine too. That's fine too. But again,
I've watched so much. I've watched me and Fog, and I have talked about this. Like, if you are doing that in college, okay.
Do you have any morality questions about Daniel Jones? Do you worry about him getting into trouble at all after hours or saying the wrong thing? Do you see a lot of these like tidbits that are coming out? Like Daniel Jones, his teammate, his grandfather died. Daniel Jones went to spend the whole day with him. One of his linebacker teammates at Duke, or I'm
not taking.
It's
away
just these little things come out. This is what I'm talking
Leadership.
about. These are the sprinkles that Dave Gettleman loves for his cake. Sprinkle. I love everything that Daniel Jones does. Everything, his character, the aura about him, the way he carries himself. Yes, the talent's important. I mean, if you can't play football, why the fuck do we want you to begin with? But the semantics and his personality and his demeanor and his outlook on life and his personality, all those are huge fucking sprinkles that Dave Gettleman is just drooling over on top of his cupcake. Those are the sprinkles that made Gettleman go for DJ over a Dwayne Haskins. I just don't trust the Haskins in the New York media. I saw the way he was looking at his cell phone when he got drafted. He looked like he was disappointed.
You know what's disgusting about that? When he got drafted, what I didn't like was that he had his face
hated that about him, and I wanted him to be good, but I was like, if he did that with the Giants, that
was disgusting. His woman calls him, "Oh, you got drafted." He went with an attitude. Then he gonna come out and say the whole league is in trouble. My man, first of all.
What's wrong with saying that?
No. Here's my issue. Here's my issue with that. First of all,
you already feel an obligation.
You are being drafted. You have a lot of young men out there who work so hard they don't get recognized. We have a lot of players right now, probably not even never got a chance to play in the NFL. That could be great. You're picked in the first round. If your favorite team didn't pick you, act professional. You know what? I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna become this leader. I'm gonna be on this team. You act like a sprinkle baby. Like a damn crybaby. Then on top of that,
being a crybaby. Is he being a crybaby, or was he just upset that he wasn't picked over a guy he thinks he's better than?
You know what?
That's a bad attitude to have, to already feel you deserve something in the NFL when you haven't even been drafted yet.
No. It's not that he thinks he deserves what he wants in the NFL. He thinks that he's better than Daniel Jones. Here's
the thing. The thing is this: if you think you're better than Daniel Jones, show it. Don't go on the media,
right?
Disrespect the camera with your family. Your family came over.
True though. It's the reason why it shows why he didn't go to New York. He's already proven it. The way he looks at his phone like.
Listen, not only that, the man The man.
I'm going back home now. I'm gonna show the whole league.
He was wearing New York Giant clothing, New York Giant apparel the
He was
whole
upset.
draft time. Working out with a Giant shirt, going to Saquon Barkley's barbershop with a Giant shirt.
And on the helmet with Steve Mariucci.
Giants. It tells me it wasn't about you. It's better than Daniel Jones. You're mad because your team didn't draft you. So that tells me that when something goes your way, you're gonna pout like a baby.
Right
now.
I don't know. I'll tell you about this.
That's a flag for me. I agree with
Dwayne
Tim.
Haskins never showed that at Ohio State. So I can't really say.
I can tell you why. He only played 1 year of college football. It's only 1 year of college football.
But he was there for a couple years.
Right.
And a lot of these character issues that are being floated out now were not reported at Ohio State. But this is the media we're talking about here. This is kind of creating great.
Brian, there's a certain tight end who's played for the New England Patriots. We didn't know about his past either until things came out. That's why we got to believe in the coaches when they go to these interviews.
Kind of extreme,
Jason.
Actually, wait a minute. If you're talking about Aaron Hernandez, that's not true. Everybody knew Everybody knew at Florida, Aaron Hernandez was crazy.
Jason, Jason lost the best argument about the safety Chauncey, right? Did anybody know that the reason why? Now Chauncey is a good player, but did everybody know that Chauncey, during his interviews, was disrespectful, coming to how he was dressed up, saying X, Y, and Z? So what happened? He fell. Again, you can have all the highlights in the world, but it's my money. Am I going to waste my money invest my money into you and your attitude that can hurt you on the field and off the field? That is why Haskins fell. If Haskins was so special, it would have jumped in.
I don't think you guys are hitting on the reality of it all. Haskins didn't fall because of any issue.
No, he was not that impressive for me to go up in front.
No, Haskins fell because the Giants had Daniel Jones as their target.
So
prior to last season, Dwayne Haskins was not an option.
Well, can we even say he fell, or can we say he was properly drafted where he was drafted? I mean, he fell because of what analysts. We're saying he fell because of analysts and their mock drafts since last year.
Listen, I've completely been adamant about it. Haskins didn't fall anywhere. He did nothing from his pro day to his combine, to game film, to fall in any way. He was drafted where he should have been drafted.
Wait. I think he fell. He fell in terms of the QB rankings, where he should have been picking in terms of the QB. It was Kyler Murray or Dwayne Haskins. They were pretty interchangeable. Then it was Drew Lock. And then it was probably like a guy like Ryan Finley. And then maybe Daniel Jones, 5 or 6. Okay, it wasn't. No, excuse me.
Daniel, I can show you a list. Daniel was number 4. A lot of people's list.
Okay, I just pulled like 4 or 5 lists. Daniel Jones is averaging around 5 or 6. Okay, so I know there's a lot of people you're talking about. Daniel Jones is about a 5 or 6 ranked quarterback, right? So I would say Dwayne Haskins fell in terms of where he should have been picked of QB rankings. That's how he fell. He didn't fall because of his talent. He didn't fall because of his character, like these made up character issues that you're trying to bring up, Tim. He fell because, like what Steven said, the Giants already saw their guy. They wanted him. Everybody felt like Daniel Jones was the better quarterback than Dwayne Haskins is the better quarterback than Daniel Jones. He should have went to the Giants, but clearly the Giants had different plans. They wanted their guy, just like they wanted their guy who fits the mold of their team, like Josh said. They want the guy who's going to come in and kind of, he's going to come in and kind of seamlessly fill in for Eli Manning, whenever that may be. And it's going to be like nothing's ever changed because that's what they want. They want to kind of continue to go with the norm, which is fine. I just don't necessarily agree because there are better options out there, and I'm a guy like I get the culture matters, but man, it was the reach. If they would have took Drew Lock, I would have been okay. because Drew Lock is probably, in a lot of people's eyes, the best quarterback in this draft, like Jason said, right? So if they were to put Drew Lock, I would have been okay because it would have made sense. It would have been a reach, right? So I'm just saying, I know, Steven, you don't like, I know you don't like Lock. I know you're not as high as him as I am, or Jason is, but I'm just saying, so it was a reach. Pretty much what Josh is pretty much saying, and it's a very logical reason. They wanted to pretty much seamlessly replace Eli Manning, like nothing's ever happened, right? Easy transition for the guy. But I just feel like it was a reach just to get that. That's what I'm saying. That's a reach.
Let me ask you guys. I want to ask you guys. Listen, you guys go back for about Daniel Jones. I want to ask you guys a question. This goes for everybody. For Fogman and Brian, I want to ask you guys this question. Give me one reason you think that Daniel Jones will succeed in New York. And then for Spoonie and Josh, give me one reason that you think that he will not succeed in New York.
Okay, so why he will succeed in New York, he fits the system. If you watch what Pat Shurmur did with Case Keenum, what he changed up and did with Eli Manning, and then you watch Daniel Jones footage, you watch his resume of what he did as a quarterback, he fits the system of what the Giants are doing. He knows how to manage a playbook. He knows how to execute it. And he is a guy that he's going to go for the safe bet as a quarterback. He goes for the high percentage, high success play. I get in Duke, his receivers were trash, but look, the reality of it is any quarterback outside of Florida State or Clemson at this point that's playing in the ACC has receivers and defenders on the opposing teams that are trash. The bottom line is Daniel Jones can succeed in New York because of the system that is already in place.
I was just say, I mean, Fogman pretty much stole my answer, so I'll go with my second reason why he'll succeed. And I don't know what success means. Like, it's very subjective. I mean, I'll say success is just being in the NFL, like sustaining, just having a job, being a starter. I think if you're a starter for years to come, whether you win or not, you're a success. So like Andy Dalton to me is a success. He's been in the league for a long time, right? So if Daniel Jones is a starter for the next 7-8 years, one of the reasons why I think he's going to be a starter for the next 7-8 years is pretty much what Josh said. His character. He's a guy who's going to hold himself accountable for his actions. He's a guy that's going to say, that was my fault. That was me. I've heard the guy talk. I've seen his interviews. I like to analyze how people are during interviews and at the podium and during press conferences to see what they are, the character. I like to hear little words, things, the tidbits they say to make me kind of feel like, okay, he's a good guy or he's an asshole. I think Daniel Jones is a good guy. Like, I think he's a good dude. He seems like a good dude, and I think that's going to keep him in the league for a long time because he's likable. And he's not a guy who's going to throw guys under the bus. Like Aaron Rodgers is a dick, right? Let's keep it a buck, right? If Aaron Rodgers, if he was any less of what he was, he wouldn't be in the league. I'm telling you right now. He probably would be, but he would not be. He wouldn't be heralded as heralded as he was. Daniel Jones, guy like Kirk Cousins, who's really buttoned up, says all the right things, not really pompous. He's average, but he's still in the league. So I think the one thing that's going to keep Daniel Jones in the league for a while is his character and how he's going to conduct himself. Like Josh said, that's pretty much the only reason. That's why I think he can find success. I'm not talking about his talent. Not now, not yet, not from what I have seen personally. But his character is going to keep him in the league for a while.
I'll say the reason why he may not succeed is defense. Don't put the ball in his hand for him to carry the team. He could like Fogman Brian put out. He can definitely manage an offense because of the system, but you don't want to put the ball in his hand as he has to win the game for the team. If anything, a strong defense, let him manage the offense, put him in great positions for him to score. That's the best way. That's the only best way I could see him having some long-term success until he gets there. Until we don't know where he's gonna be at, what kind of If he's going to be a lead, regular manager, we don't know that. But strong defense is needed.
Yeah, I agree with the defense because it hasn't been there in 5-6 years. But the only way I can really see DJ really falling flat on his face is if Gettleman somehow turns overnight into Jerry Reese and just stops paying attention to the offensive line and says, here, I'm going to give you Andre Williams from Boston College as your fucking backfield weapon with virtually no tight end, like a Will Tye. So go out there and ball out. That's the only way. That's the only way, if you expect DJ to carry the whole weight of the world on his shoulders as a quarterback, he's not going to succeed that way. But thankful for Gettleman. He is boosting up that line. So we should see, even if he doesn't play this year, he'll have another year of a draft to even build up the line even more. That right side is really the sad part.
In Gettleman's defense, and I've said this before, in his defense, he has put Super Bowl teams on the field. So he somewhat knows what he's doing. He's not a clueless dude, okay? But some of his last few decisions have been pretty questionable. But he has a track record. He has a track record for success. I'll give him that much.
I just appreciate his defensive mind in the trenches. Mm-hmm. The trenches and the defensive part of him is what I really appreciate because Jerry Reese could give a fuck less.
And that's why I was so surprised he passed. He passed on so many, like an Ed Oliver. I was so surprised. I was kind of almost convinced that he's going to go defense. And maybe Daniel Jones 17 or whoever he wanted at 17 at quarterback. But that's why I was so surprised.
I was a little surprised by the Dexter Lawrence pick too, man. They run a 3-4, right? The Giants do.
Yeah,
they run a 3-4. I thought they already have somebody up there in the middle right there with what's his name? Tomlinson is his name. And I thought like the Dexter Lawrence pick seemed like a more of a BPA kind of thing, and I was like he's the best guy available. And I thought they could have picked somebody else.
Which player was that?
Position, huh?
Which player?
Dexter Lawrence.
He's a versatile fucking. Some people say he was the most important piece on that line to allow like even Farrell to open up because he was pushing around in the middle of the A gap. He was moving bodies, even double teamed at times. Lawrence looks to be like
if you notice in the Alabama Clemson game, Dexter Lawrence was out. Remember, he was suspended. That's what he was suspended, right? And you saw, and Nick Saban's an idiot for this. He went away from the run, but Alabama was gashing Clemson in that middle, but Nick Saban went away from the run for whatever reason. Didn't give it Damian Williams. Didn't give it to Najee Harris. They were gashing that middle, but they went away from it. So yeah, Dexter Lawrence was a very important piece on that line. A very important piece.
I understand what you mean.
So what is he going to play though? Is he going to play like a 3-4 defensive end? He's going to be the nose tackle.
He can be moved around. That's what James Betcher loves. He loves the versatility in the pieces like a Dexter Lawrence because he could play that nose tackle and he can even play the edge on a 3-4. He really could.
He definitely could. He definitely could play that edge.
But that'll be interesting because you do have Dalvin Tomlinson and BJ Hill there. BJ actually showed some nice flashes too in his little rookie year. So that's another exciting piece as a second year on that line. I don't really have like a blow up piece in BJ Hill, but he's a solid. He did decent for his rookie year, pretty solid. So that'll be interesting though to see how they implement Tomlinson and Lawrence though.
Hold on, quick, Josh. You didn't give me my answer. We kind of went off track. I asked you how many games. Oh,
right.
When are we gonna see the Daniel Jones era start? I have my answer. I'm gonna give mine yours. I'm gonna give mine as soon as you give yours.
We should keep that we should make that a poll question, I think.
Yeah, that would be a great poll question.
Great poll question.
I
have an idea, I think.
I'll say Daniel Jones first starts in 2020.
Oh, okay. So you think this is going to be like
a learning year? Yeah.
Eli Manning's kind of like farewell, Dwayne Wade kind of thing, red carpet year, say goodbye to everybody. I can see that. I can. Yeah. Just based off what you said, it made a lot of sense of kind of seamlessly getting Daniel Jones ready and like letting kind of Eli go on his own terms. I don't agree with that. I think we're gonna see Daniel Jones. What's that? 1, 2,
only 3, if it gets very
4,
ugly.
5, 6. Week 7 against Arizona. That's right after Monday night, or I believe that's Sunday Night Football against the Patriots.
That'd be a great game. Kyler versus DJ, huh?
I have him week 7. I think you guys are probably going to start about maybe 2-4, maybe 1-5 during the stretch. I'm looking at the schedule now. Things can change, obviously.
Yeah.
but I see Daniel Jones getting in a lot earlier than anticipated. That's actually after a bye week as well, I believe. So it made perfect timing for him to get in.
I could believe it too. We have very young defense too now. There's a bunch of rookies out there besides Janoris as defensive backs, so could definitely see that.
Yeah, that'd be a great. I'm gonna put that on the poll. That sounds like a great poll question. A lot of Giants. I'm kind of curious to see when they think or when they want to see him out there. You know,
I know some Giants.
I think actuality would be a better question because that's a hard one to really pull. It's a good one.
I was gonna
prediction.
I'm gonna say week 8, but I mean, another funny thing about can you guys talk about Daniel Jones? It kind of reminded me of the whole Kristaps Porzingis thing. How New York fans just booed him when they picked him, they drafted him. That's why I'm kind of hoping that Daniel Jones he actually had some success as New York, because it just kind of reminds me of just like how Kristaps Porzingis was just so booed and nobody really knew who he was, and he came out and he played great until he got injured and just like.
And then
now everybody's like, oh yeah, we got Daniel Jones. Like he's just a great guy now. All of a sudden, like he's awesome.
Listen, you realize you know what happened at the end of Kristaps Porzingis era, right? You know what happened at the end, right? What happened?
Well, because he got hurt. I mean, I understand the other part, but I'm saying
traded.
He got traded, but still, it's like he came in when they drafted him. He was pretty good. He gave New York some hope. Like, oh, we got a franchise guy. So all the other shit started happening, of course, but. I think this Daniel Jones is kind of reminds me of that similar, kind of reminds me a little bit. I mean, it's like they don't really know too much about this guy. Like they don't think he's that good, and
I feel
he might come in. He might actually come in play pretty good. Like I think he might come in and do okay. I think the pick was a reason, but I think like you guys said, they got their guy. Just like the Cardinals, they got their guy. You know what I mean? Like I didn't agree with the Cardinals getting rid of Josh Rosen, for Kyler Murray, but. They got their guy, just like a lot of other picks in this draft. I just read you guys all the safeties that was picked, ahead of like guys like Deontay Thomas, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. I mean, there were some picks, there was some reach. That's because teams, they do their homework. They get the guy that they want. I mean, the Colts, they got rid of 2 of their 4th round picks just to get Kyrie Willis. I had to go look this guy up. I didn't know who he was. I thought we could have got, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, but we didn't. So that was a lot of that happening in this draft.
You're really hung up on Chauncey Gardner-Johnson.
I am.
Yeah, he is.
I don't appreciate wearing this fucking hat, man.
Are you ready for this?
Listen, you could take it off now. It's affecting your thought process.
What's that, Tim?
Tim, you said what? December 29th against the Eagles?
No, September 29th.
Oh, September 29th. The Redskins, Dwayne Haskins.
Redskins at Giants. Dwayne Haskins.
That's a 1:00 game right now. I guarantee you that was going to be a primetime game. I guarantee you they're going to switch that one.
If Daniel Jones, I can see Daniel.
I'm so thankful for the Giants. They only have 2 or 3 primetime games. Thank God. More 1:00 games, please. I hate the Giants in primetime. Anything after 4, fuck us. Terrible.
That'd be pretty cool. I saw that too, Tim, but I was like, that's too much pie. That's too much pie in the sky. I think Kyler Murray would be more of a interesting. I mean, not more interesting, but more of a realistic. But yeah, that'll be fun as hell.
For the sake of our audience, I'm going to end the show, but we can bullshit some more in the background, fellas. But everybody that watched, special shout out to the 2 that was stuck here for the longest, Miss Chocolate Writer, aka Sharon, and Bobby Zaloga, the Mahomes man. Appreciate you guys coming around and giving us some content to work with. We always love the views. So, very first episode, fellas. I think it was pretty damn good. So, signing out from 4QQ. If you're not already in the Facebook group, come check us out. Search us, Quarter Quarrel. That's all it is, baby. 4QQ. All right, gents. We're out.
All right, guys.